We all know and love Taika Waititi for directing the best MCU movie. Yep, we're definitely talking about Thor Ragnarok here. But it looks like the New Zealander has launched himself in sort of some trouble over something that has yet to happen. Curious? Well, stick around until the end of this video as we talk about why the Academy Award winner's now getting hate for a film that he hasn't even made. First up, let's see why Taika's getting all the hate. Back when Thor: Love and Thunder was first announced, everyone was pretty excited about how things would unfold with the introduction of Jane Foster as the goddess of thunder. And upon hearing that Taika would be the brains behind the project, we were all sure that the fourth Thor movie would be his magnum opus after Ragnarok. But that's where things took a wild turn. After the widespread disappointment in Waititi's sequel, the director has been subjected to a lot of hate on social media. And it's gotten so bad that people are now attacking his future projects and want him to step away from them all. A little birdie told us that there are a couple of Taika projects in the pipeline currently, and while we'll talk about them in this video later on, let's go over why the New Zealand natives become the digital punching bag for MCU fans. For starters, Thor 4 rushed through its entire length of 119 minutes without pausing to catch a breath. There was just too much going on to make any sense, and we're all still pretty mad that there were plenty of cameos that were left somewhere in the editing room floor. Lena Headey, Peter Dinklage, and Jeff Goldblum? Yeah, they really did us dirty, didn't they? While many people think the CGI and Taika's uncool jokes about it amidst the whole VFX controversy, most fans pointed out while the comic book had dark layers to the story, the pacing and the overall over-the-top comedic touches were perhaps the movie's own undoing, and ultimately Taika's too. Now, what's the new project about that the fans don't want him to do? So apart from all the backlash post-Thor 4, people now want Taika to step back from his future projects, namely Akira. And for those of you who don't know what Akira is, here's a quick little recap. Akira is an upcoming live-action adaptation of the hugely popular manga and anime of the same name, and longtime fans of the story are not really happy that Waititi's still on the project as its front runner. According to some fans, seeing how he butchered Love and Thunder, they're worried that the New Zealand native should be replaced ASAP before he finds a way to tarnish the legacy of the beloved franchise. Akira is a popular manga and anime from the 1980s that's set in a city known as Neo-Tokyo in a post-nuclear dystopia. The main character is a leader of the futuristic motorcycle gang, and in order to free his best friend, Tetsu, from a secret government project, he goes up against politicians, scientists, and a mystery military leader. We know this project sounds really cool, and if the right people make it, it'll probably be the greatest movie of all time. But seeing how Taika colors the film, an odd shade of eccentricity, we don't really think fans want him to be associated with anything that concerns Akira. Up next, what do the fans think about Taika's upcoming project? Well, we already know that one fan thinks Taika butchered Thor 4 and no longer wants him to direct Akira live action. But you'd probably be surprised to know that there are some fans who are willing to ask Warner Bros. To get Jordan Peele to do the movie instead. Now that's one comedian we don't mind making films. Not only that, but Matt Trin from Twitter even said that Taika Waititi's Akira will make Dragon Ball Evolution look like a masterpiece. And that's saying something, because do we even want to recall the horror that was? No, right? Well, some fans have given him the benefit of the doubt and trust him to steer the story in the right direction. Another person on Twitter said that they now live with anxiety every day because they simply don't know whether Taika's still planning on making Akira live action film. It seems like Thor 4 really plummeted all of our expectations from the director after all. Coming up, what does Taika have to say about all the backlash? Well, there's been no direct comment from Taika about the recent backlash regarding his plans to pursue Akira. His reaction to the initial criticism following Love and Thunder was rather amusing. When a fan called on Twitter to criticize the film for steering off the course, another user replied to them about the film's humor by using a Luke Cage comic panel. The tweet said that considering Thor had a dance-off with Luke Cage, we need to stop pretending as Thor can only be one thing. Taika seemed to agree with the later. and it looks like he's not taking any of the hate to his heart. Moving on, while the internet mob is still mad at the director for what he did to Thor: Love and Thunder, let's not lose hope and trust the man who's honed his craft for the years. Up next, we've got some exciting new project that Taika's involved in, and as always, we've got the tea to spill, so keep watching. First up is the sequel to What We Do in the Shadows. We know Taika does a spectacular job incorporating humor in his genre-based bending films, and What We Do in the Shadows was a perfect example of his skills. The horror mockumentary eventually gained so much success with a growing fan base that Waititi announced that he planned on making a sequel for the cult classic film titled We're Wolves. From what we know, the movie will center around a group of, you guessed it, werewolves who will try to live in modern-day New Zealand. Rumors has it that Rhys Darby will have a leading role in the film, but we're not sure when the film will see the light of day, as Waititi's already occupied with more pertinent projects. But if we're being honest, seeing how important the series is to him, we might just see werewolves in development real soon. Up next, we've gotten an untitled Star Wars film. Star Wars with a hint of Taika? Well, that's a combo more ambitious than the time we added raspberry syrups to our pumpkin spice lattes. A while ago, Lucasfilms Limited announced that there were plans to develop a new Star Wars film with the Jojo Rabbit director, and considering how he already had experience with the franchise when he directed a few episodes of The Mandalorian, we're actually pretty excited to see his vision come to life on screen. Word on the street is that the film will be written by both Waititi and Christy Wilson Cairns, as the production house is currently aiming for a 2023 release. While there's little to no information about what the movie will be about or its title, some promo stuff posted online show that there are a few crystals floating in space, and we're super excited to find out more. What's more, there's a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Netflix series in the works, and Taika's directing it. This upcoming series on the streaming giant might just be the one for you. Back in 2020, a rumor spread that Netflix was planning on creating something related to the cult classic, and later it was announced that it was indeed planning on creating 2 animated series based on Dell's classic Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The executives of the streaming giant reached out to Taika to direct the 2 series, with the first one being about the characters and the original plot of the novel, and the other focusing solely on the Oompa Loompas. Until now, there's no official release date for the series, but seeing how punctual Netflix is, we can expect either part of the series to drop sometime in the upcoming years. Let's talk about The Auteur. The horror comedy limited series featuring Jude Law is set to stream on Showtime. The Auteur is yet another one of Taika's projects in the making, with less than no information available. All we know for now is that the series will be told from the point of view of the eccentric auteur and will be a satire on Hollywood. Considering Taika's success with satire incorporating eccentric themes, this series will definitely live up to its hype. And if we're being honest, the whole vibe we're getting from the title itself is very Taika-like. So maybe he'll draw inspiration from his own experiences in the film too. Who knows? Following up, we've got Flash Gordon. It seems like the New Zealand native really enjoys making live-action films, with yet another one under his belt. Flash Gordon will be a live-action film that focuses on characters from the popular sci-fi comics about an outer space hero and evil space lords. Does that sound familiar? Well, it's been confirmed by Fox and Disney that Waititi would create the movie. There's not much information about whether he'd write the screenplay for it too, though considering how heavily invested the director is in his projects, we won't be surprised if he pens it down. Officials say that Fox and Disney are still on board with the movie, so we're hoping it gets a release date soon too. After all, the production's still in its early stages. Last but definitely not least on our list is The Inkle. Back in 2021, the Humanoids and Premiere Entertainment made an announcement that Waititi would get the chance to direct the first feature adaptation of Alejandro Jodorowsky and the Moebius graphic novel, The Inkle. The story is an epic space opera about P.I. John DeFoe, who somehow stumbles upon a magical little artifact known as the Inkle. And as he finds more information about the object's true powers, he finds himself on a spiritual journey across the galaxy that will once again be projected onto the screen by none other than the director of Thor: Ragnarok himself. Sadly, there's no known release date yet, but seeing how the novel itself was released only a year ago, large developments seem unlikely. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think his golden days as a director are behind him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. Until next time, see you soon.